Hello and welcome to the explanation of a new problem. So in this video, we are going to discuss the question number 4 of LeetCode weekly contest 244. And the question is minimum space wasted from packaging. So we have a long description with us over here. I'll quickly jump over to the example to explain the problem. You have certain packages with you and the size of those packages has been given to you as 2, 3 and 5. And you have some suppliers, right, who provide boxes, right? So these boxes, you can add these packages into your boxes, right? The catch over here is that we have multiple suppliers, but we have to choose only one, right? So let's say that I decide to choose the supplier with who is giving me the boxes of size 2, 8, right? Now I'm just going to disregard this 4, 8 over here. And all I need to consider over here is the package, the boxes given to me by the supplier who has the sizes of 2, 8, right? So I think this package 2 can come very nicely inside this box of size 2. And for packages of size 3 and 5, we need boxes of size 8. So the space that is being wasted, right, since the box is very large, there is some amount of space that you are wasting. To pack the package with size 2 inside the box with size 2, the space that you are wasting is 0, right? This is completely optimal. For the condition when you are packaging the package of size 3 and 5 inside the box 8, you are wasting a 5 space over here and 3 space over here, which is equal to 8. Okay, so the space that is being wasted by this supplier while while packing the packages that you have is 8. Let's try this supplier. So I think over here, the box of size 4 can easily fit the package of size 2 and the package of size 3. So I hope you do understand that the supply for the boxes of size 4 is infinite with this first supplier. Similarly, the size of the boxes with size 8 being supplied by this first supplier and infinite in number. So we can use this 4 as many times as we want over here. So this 4 will be able to successfully package the package with size 2 and 3, and we'll use the 8 to pack 5. So the space wasted over here is 2. Over here, the space wasted is 1, since we're packing it in the box 4. And over here, the space wasted is 3. So I guess 3 plus 2 plus 1 gives us, sorry, 3 plus 2 plus 1, it gives us 6. And so the first supplier is wasting the space of 6, and the second supplier is wasting the space of 8. Our job is to choose a supplier optimally so that minimum total space is wasted, and we have to return the minimum wasted space. Since it may be large, you might have to return the modulo. So over here, we were easily able to identify that the first supplier, he was actually wasting the minimum amount of space, which was 6, and the second supplier was wasting 8. So we chose the first supplier, and the output is 6. So I hope the question is at least clear to you guys. And let's go to the whiteboard and let's try small. Okay. Let's not think of the big picture over here. Let's think of the small picture over here. Let's say that you have 2, 3, and 5 as the package sizes. I'm going to and the boxes provided to you by supplier. Okay, so I'm going to take only one supplier with me for the time being, right? Let's say that we have only one supplier and we have only one type of box which has size 5. So I'm going to draw this over there. This is 2, this is going to represent 3, and let's say this is representing 5. Okay, let me take this as 6. Fine, this is 6 actually. And this is the box. This is the box. This is size 6. So as you can clearly see that this box will be able to engulf this package, and similarly to be able to engulf this package, but some space is wasted. In that space, let's see how to calculate it. It's going to be very simple. We know that we are going to add 3 separate packages into 3 sets of boxes, right? We have infinite supply of 6 sized box. So let's, so we have 3 packages. And right, we have 3 packages and the box size is 6. So the total space that we have to pack this is basically 18, right? And the space that is being wasted, well, that can be easily calculated. If you have sum of p, so sum of p is 5 plus 3, 8 plus 2, 10. And obviously 18 minus 10, this will give you 8, which is the space that was being wasted when I was trying to engulf this, sorry, when I was trying to engulf these packages inside these boxes, right? So 3 were being used, hence 3 into size of the box, which is 6, gives you 18. And the sum p, which is 10, will give you the, and there's a fractional actually, it will give you the space that is being wasted. So this was a small picture, right? Let's now talk about the big picture. So the big picture over here would be just to change. Let's take. Sorry, I'm changing my pen. Okay. So let's take yet another small picture, but a little bigger than the last time. Now we have 3 and 7, right? So this 3 size box will be able to pack 2 and 3, and this 7 will be able to pack 5, right? So basically, let me draw a demarcation over here. Before this point, we are packaging, or we are packing 2 and 3 inside the box of size 3, right? So for 3, we have 2, right? And 7, the package with size 5 will be packed by box 7. So 7 into 1, right? And the extra space over here could be easily calculated by subtracting this size from this, so minus plus 3, and this can be done by minus 5. So don't you think that we do not actually need to go and calculate the space that is being wasted? Do you see the pattern here? It's very interesting. Basically, you just need the sum of the entire P. Let's go ahead and calculate the optimal amount of space that you will be requiring, and then we'll subtract this entire sum of P from these products that you are getting, right? So basically, I can replace this into 3 into 2, right? Plus 7 into 1 minus sum of P. So this will give me 6 plus 7 minus sum of P, which I remember being 10. So 6 plus 7 is 13, space which is over here is 3. Let's just go and confirm this again using our brute force mind analysis. And what was that? That the 3 would be packing, I guess erased it, sorry. 3, yeah, I got it back. So 3 would be packing 2, space wasted 1. 3 would be packing 3, space wasted 0. 7 would be packing 5, space wasted 2, which is 3. Which was exactly what we were getting using the a little different equation that I was going for just before with the right thing. Fine. Now let's get to our final big picture. Now it's time, moment of the truth. So packages we have 2, 3, 5, and boxes. Let's say, let's take this example itself, finally 4,8 and 2,8. So this is clear to us that we'll have to iterate over the boxes, right? And we'll have to select each supplier, and our job would be to find the supplier who is wasting minimum space, and then we'll return that minimum space, right? But how to go about uh, creating a demarcation that I can over here, right? I created a demarcation over here. How to go about doing that? So it's pretty convenient for us that this example has a sorted list of packages. Let's assume this was not sorted. The first step would be p dot sort, right? And let's assume that we had 532 and now we have got a sorted p over here. Cool. So I hope by the use of word sorting, you guys must have figured out what I'm going to do by now. And that is, I'm going to select this 4 and I'm going to perform binary search on this p array using this 4. Basically, I'll be getting the how do you call it? I guess it's called lower bound. We'll be getting that bound for placing this 4. And obviously that 4 will be placed between the demarcation of this. It might have been a possibility that we would have, instead of a 3 over here, we would be having a 4. Again, the demarcation would be caused over here, right? And at each point, what you're going to do is, let's say your starting index was I, the demarcation was found at j. So j minus I, this will give you the number of the packages you will be packing using this particular box multiplied by the size of box. This entire 2D array is boxes. I'll call this small array as B, so BI, right? And we calculate all these. Let me explain again. So next time, okay, so you have covered the box with size 4. Now let's come to box with size 8. One demarcation that you created over here, now this demarcation will lead you to make your I as this one over here. Or let's say your I will be actually this one, the last j that you encountered, and your upper bound will reach somewhere over there. So this upper bound minus this I will give you 1, this because we are packing only one package, 5, and that 1 will be multiplied then by 8, right? Again, then j minus I multiplied by b of, I think I just used same index incorrectly. This would never be bi. This would be some other index. Let's call it x for now. I'm sorry, I actually reused I 2 times. I hope you were getting my point. We were iterating over this B list, and that could have been any iterator. I just mistook it for it as I, whereas I was already using I. So I just used two variables to do one single variable to iterate over two separate arrays, and that was wrong. Sorry for that fumble. So bx over here, right? So at each demarcation, we'll calculate j minus I into bx, j minus I into bx. We'll keep adding their sum, and this will give you the space wasted by this supplier, right? Then you'll go on to this supplier, you'll find out the space wasted by him, and you can have as many suppliers as you have, and then your final answer would be storing the minimum of the space wasted by the previous supplier, comma the current supplier, right? And the catch is you actually don't need to find the total wasted space, because we were covering these boxes. These boxes would in itself will also be sorted, and we were covering this very optimally, right? We were using the minimum size box to cover most of the packages that we have. This way we were utilizing minimum total space, and obviously therefore we will be minimizing total wasted space, right? If we are using minimum total space, obviously we are using minimum total wasted space. And the trick that I showed you earlier, simply take the sum, and at the end you can subtract the sum of p, and that will give you your total wasted space. And you could have taken mean of that or mean of this, doesn't matter. And finally, at the completion of the traversal of all the suppliers that you have in the form of the boxes to the array, you have your final answer, and then you just return your final answer. So as difficult question goes, this was a pretty normal, or I shall say this was a little medium problem. I won't consider it as a hard problem. All you needed to do was to figure out how to calculate the total wasted space and how will you go about optimally selecting those boxes. And I think this was pretty clear that once we applied sorting, we could have easily used the optimal, we could have easily placed this optimal box. But so as you remember, I was placing this 4 optimally over here because I knew it would optimally cover 2 and 3. I did not go over to 8 to cover 3 and 2. That would have been a waste of space, right? And how did I find its demarcation optimally? That's very simple. I used binary search. This is something that you have been doing so many times now, right? Finding the correct location using the help of binary search, finding the correct demarcation using the help of binary search. So I hope the explanation of this problem was pretty clear to you. I would recommend you guys now to go to the compiler of LeetCode and try this problem yourself. This is actually an easy problem. Once I have explained it to you, this should become very easy for you guys to solve. You know how to utilize binary search, and the only mathematical thing happening over here was this formula, which is very easy to understand, right? So go to the compiler, try to code this problem on your own. If by chance you're not able to code, you can move on to the next part of this video, which will be pseudocode. Also, I just realized that while I was explaining, maybe I used the word lower bound, but in actuality, since we were going one step ahead, so this could be called the upper bound. I'm correcting this because for our C++ users out there, they have this functionality of directly calling upper bound and lower bound. They won't need to write their own function for binary search. Same goes for Python users, but for Java users, you'll have to write your binary search function. I won't be writing the binary search function in the pseudocode. I'll be just assuming that you know how to do it, and I'll be using the phrase upper bound in the pseudocode while I need to calculate the demarcation. I hope that's okay. So let's begin. Take color of the pen. So our first step was to, I think LeetCode is using the name packages. Yeah, LeetCode is using the name packages. I don't want to write packages again and again. So I'll be substituting packages with P and boxes with boxes shall remain boxes. Okay, let's move forward. So first step. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is not the step. This is the video. The pseudocode, right? So P dot sort, right? After that, let's use an answer variable, right? And let's say that it is storing infinity, and this can actually be basically 1E9, right? So that's okay. And we do need a mod. This is something that you guys can handle on your own, 1E9 plus 7, right? This is a basic mod. So our first step would be to calculate this. So I am assuming or hoping that you'll be able to write this for loop on your own, which will calculate the sum and store it in a sum variable. So I'll name it sum p, and basically this is my function to calculate sum, and I'm sending the array p. So this is something you don't need a function for. You can just write your simple for loop over there. Now begins the real thing. We are going to iterate over the each supplier, right? So I'm going to use a for each kind of loop. So for B in boxes, right? First step, sort B. B is sorted. Now, one thing that you might need to check is that a supplier can become directly invalid if, say, over here, this supplier did not, let's say the first supplier was 4, okay, let's say that the first supplier was in a state like this, 3, 4. Then obviously we are going to discard this supplier because it does not have a box that will be able to cover the largest size package, right? So the boxes that he has, among them the largest is 4 and the largest package is 5. So since 5 is greater than 4, we are going to dump this supplier and we don't want anything to do with this supplier, right? So this is the first condition that we're going to check. And what is that? The first condition that we're going to check is let's say that each B has a length M, right? And let's say that each P has a length N. So basically what we're going to check in your if condition is that if B N minus 1 is less than A N minus 1. P N minus 1. If this happens, continue because this is a supply that you need to basically, sorry for my bad handwriting. So like I was saying, this is a supply that you need to skip. Perfect. Now we get into the main code. So let's say that I'm going to use a line, like I was using in the example, I'm going to use a J, right? I don't think I need to declare the J because J will be something that I'm going to achieve using the upper bound, right? Now this B was actually a 1D array over which I'm going to iterate. And yeah, so another for loop will be required. So I'm going to iterate use another for each loop, something like that. And this time, these will get very confusing for you guys. I used X in the explanation. So now let's inside this loop, our first step would be to calculate the J, and I'm going to get that using the upper bound. This is actually a C++ function, but I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to achieve from here. And you're finding the upper bound in you're finding the upper bound in our package array, which was P, and we're finding the upper bound of what? X. Yeah, perfect. Now I think I need another variable to store that total size that I was getting, number of boxes multiplied by the box that we were utilizing. So let's call it, what should we call it? We can call it anything. First, let's call it temp, right? So your temp is basically, or let's say temp, I'm going to keep over here. No, temp would be declared outside this for loop, right? Temp is being declared somewhere over here, and it is actually introduced. So temp plus equal to what it would be, j minus I multiplied by the x that, the box size that we were using, right? And for the next demarcation, our I will become our j. Outside this for loop, yeah, I have declared the answer. That's perfect. So outside this for loop, our answer will basically be minimum of the answer that we already had, which was infinity, comma the 10. I could have named it as previous also, but okay, you get the point over there. Cool. Now, once this final for loop is over here, right? I don't use brackets in pseudocode, but I just wanted to demarcate. You need to understand. So once we have traversed over all the suppliers, I'm sure we'll be having the final answer. And remember that we are actually calculating the minimum of the total space. And I told you that if we have the optimal total space, we have the minimum wasted space, right? So I think your final answer would then become that trick that I taught you earlier. It would basically be return answer minus the sum key that we calculated, right? Because that will give you the total wasted space. And we do need to remember that it might be too large for this program to handle. So we modulo it by mod, right? And yeah, that's it. I think one thing that I left over here is the condition where if this is not possible for any supplier, our answer will be -1. So when will it never be possible for a supplier? When for each and every single supplier, this particular condition is being executed, right? So if for each and every single supplier, this particular condition is being executed, this would mean that that our answer variable never changed from infinity to something else. So if the answer variable remains infinity, you'll return -1. Otherwise, you'll return this statement that I've written in the code, right? So I don't think I need to rub this and explain it again. This was pretty much sufficient for you guys. I hope the explanation for this video was also clear, and the pseudocode. I hope that you were able to code it yourself, but still, if you find yourself in this part of the video where you need to check out the pseudocode, you need to practice. Try this question again. Don't just copy or convert this pseudocode into some language. Now that you've understood the steps that I've explained, go and try it again, right? This is how you will improve for the next competition. So thank you.